Hello and welcome to the Thrive After 40 podcast, where we talk about all things health, fitness and mindset for women over 40. I am your host Nick. I'm here to help you look and feel your best with some practical advice that you can actually use. Today we are going to be talking about when the good habits that we put in place start to slip, how we can catch it early and what we can do about it. So we always think that habits basically fail overnight. You wake up one morning and everything's just gone and you can't be bothered anymore. That doesn't really happen. In reality, it's just a general slip over time. So it might be one meal that you don't hit your protein target, one day that you don't stay under your calories, you still try for the next couple of days, and then it gives completely. Or you miss one workout, and then you go to the gym and then you miss another workout and then you miss two workouts and then you go back to the gym and then you're gradually eroding those habits over time. It's not generally something that happens overnight. It's rarely about willpower. It's more often about life getting in the way. So the other things in life are generally getting louder and your habits are getting lost in the noise. You drift into that kind of place where you're no longer completing your healthy habits and you feel like you've done it overnight, it's just gone, but actually there is a gradual decline and there are some early warning signs. So generally there are signals that people ignore. One is you're still thinking about doing the habit, but you're doing it less. So it's still on your mind, you're still thinking about doing it, you're still planning to do it, but you don't actually do it. Or you do it one day and then you don't do it the next, or you do it for 2 days in a row and then you miss a day, or you do it and then you miss 2 days and then you do it again. So gradually you're still thinking about that habit, but it's gradually getting less and less prominent in your life. You're doing it less and less, even though you're still doing it. You start saying things like, I will start again on Monday, or once that food's gone, I'll start my diet again. So someone brings you a bar of chocolate, then it's I'll do my habit, or I'll do my diet after I've eaten all of that chocolate. Again, one missed workout turns into two, then a week, but you're still thinking about working out, but you're just going less and less and less. You stop planning your food and rely more on convenience food. It might just be at the weekends initially, but then it starts to creep into the week as well. You start to feel tired, snappy, overwhelmed. You don't know why, and that's because your bedtimes are starting to slip and you're not sleeping as well. You start to feel guilty rather than curious about your behaviour. You feel guilty that you can't do it. You're upset with yourself because you can't do the habits that you set yourself to do. Missing once isn't the problem. It's missing it and missing it and missing it and missing it. So when you start to notice those missing habits, that's when you need to start taking action. And it's about noticing that things are starting to go wrong before it gets to a point where everything's gone wrong completely. So we need to shift the mindset a little bit so that we stop that slide. Slipping does not mean you failed. So one slip doesn't mean that's it. It's instantly done and dusted. It's over. It means something else in your life has changed. It's feedback. It's feedback that this habit is no longer as important as it was, or everything else is taking over and I need to readjust and redo something about that. It might be stress from work, it might be workload, it might be hormones, sleep, emotional load. Habits just need adjusting in those times, and noticing it is when we can make a difference. So instead of judging yourself or being down on yourself or thinking you failed, ask yourself what's changed recently. Why does this habit feel harder now than it did a couple of weeks ago? And what am I expecting from myself right now? Once you know what's changed, why things are hard right now, you can then readjust and realign your habits into what is actually currently happening in your life right now. The crucial bit is early action. So when you start to notice those slides in habits, it's acting early and actually asking yourself those questions. Why aren't I doing this anymore? What has changed in my life? Why is it so difficult to do this habit? Most people just give up, but actually you need to make it smaller. You need to make it so small that it's achievable even on your worst days. Lower the standards temporarily. Make simpler meals. Have shorter workouts. Things that, I don't know, if your goal is to train 4 days a week, but you notice that you're not even getting there once a week at the moment, then maybe 4 days a week is not achievable. Maybe make it 2 days a week or even 1 day a week. If your goal is to train for an hour, but that's not achievable, have a goal to train for 30 minutes or 15 minutes. If you have a goal of walking every day for 1 hour, but it's just not achievable, you're not doing it. You're not doing that walk for an hour. Walk for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Make it as small as you can possibly make it, because then it's going to be easy to do and you will consistently be able to do it. Put some things in place for when you need them. So habits are easier to protect than restart. So if it's something that you're already doing, it's much easier to continue to do it at a less intense variant rather than trying to add it back in again if you stop doing it completely. Keep some non-negotiables that are small and realistic. I'm a massive fan of this in my coaching. I always have non-negotiables that I set with my clients that they can do even when days are tricky. It might just be drinking a bottle of water or standing outside for 5 minutes, listening to a podcast, texting a friend. Anything that you can do that helps you still feel like you are doing something for you, that you are doing something to keep your goals pushing forwards, that's what we need to do. So yeah, non-negotiables that you can do even on your busiest day and time. Just pick one thing that you can continue to do consistently even when you're having the worst time ever. Anchor these habits to existing things. So it might be that whilst you boil your kettle for your morning coffee, you stand outside for 5 minutes and get a bit of fresh air. That's all it needs to be. Just something like that, because early in the day you have achieved something. You always boil the kettle for your coffee. It could be before you brush your teeth, you do 2 minutes of stretching. You always brush your teeth in the morning. So you can always do 2 minutes of stretching before you brush your teeth. Have a version of your week where you have like a busy week. If it's busy, this is my expectation. I'm going to go to the gym once. I'm going to walk at least twice. I'm going to have protein and fibre with each of my meals, even if that's the only thing I plan. So have a version of your week that is, this is the busy version of my week. So if everything's going to pot and this is like the least. We've got the least here, and then we've got the most. So you have got a plan for when things go to pot, and you have a plan for when things are going well. If you can, I would try and schedule things into your diary. So look at your week and actually book things in with yourself. And you're much more likely to do it if you book it in advance. So if you want to walk on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday at lunchtime, then book that into your diary. It's there in black and white, set a reminder. It's much easier to do it if it's scheduled with yourself. You need to make everything as easy as possible to continue to do it. As easy as possible. So if that means having your shoes by the door, having your clothes ready the night before, making your water bottles up, making your breakfast and lunches up, anything that you can do to remove any friction on the day that you actually need to do something, I'm a massive fan of. There are certain things that I won't do if it's not, if I haven't sort of made a plan for it and everything is in exactly the right place. So I have to make sure my strength and conditioning sessions are in my diary. My cycling sessions are in my diary. My breakfast is made for the week. If I don't have breakfast, a good breakfast, if I just have cereal, I tend to not have a good dinner and lunch. So I make those things because I know it helps me later on in the day. So remove as much friction as possible. This is where like your accountability and structure comes in so well. They remove that decision making. If you have a structure for it, if it's planned and scheduled into your day, and you can set the boundaries to say this is what's going to happen at this time. That's an easy way of getting things to be done. Slips and things like that are information. It's all feedback at the end of the day. I always say there's no such thing as failure, just feedback. So every time something doesn't go to plan, it's giving you feedback. It's giving you data. Why didn't it go to plan? What do you need to do in order to get it to go to plan? And what I'm trying to do a good match for my life right now? It's just building awareness and self-reflection. People who stay consistent long term aren't perfect. They are just quicker at noticing and adjusting and readjusting and readjusting. It's not, if you constantly are saying, I'm going to train 4 or 5 days a week, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, and you're not doing that, then something needs to change. You need to readjust, reevaluate, and actually say, well, do you know what? Yeah, a long time ago, I said, there's absolutely no way I'm getting up early to train because I just won't do it. Unless I've got a scheduled in thing, unless I'm meeting somebody at the gym or I'm planned to do a bike session with somebody else and I know that I'm going to let them down if I'm not there. 0 point in me trying to get up early and train, because I just know I just won't do it. I don't want to get up early. So now I don't put that pressure on myself. I don't say to myself, oh, that's a good idea, because I know it isn't. So what's the first habit that usually slips when you're on your diet, when you're kind of on the wagon and you start to notice things slide? What is it that usually slides first? If you can protect that, maybe everything else will be easier to protect. What is the thing in your life that you want to do that always seems to give way first? Is it the meal prep? Is it eating healthier foods? Is it not snacking? Is it drinking more water? Is it moving more? Or, like these things that we are meant to do. If you notice which one is the one that goes first, you can then preserve that one thing, and hopefully it has a knock-on effect on keeping everything else in check. So that's all for today. Hopefully that's given you some helpful hints and tips in order to preserve your habits and not let them get slowly eroded away. If you found today's episode helpful, please follow, share it with a friend, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.